will be that it exists different water pathway, and we need data to assess this water pathway, that it exists already an audit methodology, and we are working on decision support tool to help decision making. So water contamination can occur because of different water pathway. And we have surface runoff, saturation runoff, lateral seepage or drainage, and leaching. And an audit methodology should include variables, agronomical and environmental variables, that allow the advisors to identify the suitable water circulation. And this water circulation, this suitable water circulation, will lead to adapted BMPs. To identify this water circulation, we already have an audit methodology in place. And this audit methodology is based on diagnosis tool. One is a diagnosis tool to prevent the contamination of water by pesticides at field scale. And another one is a diagnosis tool to locate and size buffer zones. These tools were based on a French approach and were developed by Corpen, which is a French group of experts, Arvalis and Irstea, and they were optimized among Provadis partners. And we specifically focus on runoff, as Jeremy told already. So let's see now what are the different steps in audit methodology at plot scale. So we have 5 different steps. The first one is the data collection of all information you already have on the catchment you want to audit. The second step is to identify the water circulation on the field regarding these famous agronomical and environmental variables. Then, once you have identified the water pathway regarding soil characteristic and landscape characteristic, you can add and try to assess the effect of practices, and mainly cover and tillage practices. This leads you to evaluate the risk regarding transfer of pesticides and to evaluate water circulation at plot scale, but within the catchment. Then you can propose adapted solutions, which are split in 5 to 6 different categories: soil management, crop practices, adapting PPP, implementing vegetative buffers, and wetland. And I will now mainly focus on the steps 2, 3, and 4. So, the water circulation, as Jeremy already told us, is really related to soil characteristic, and which is a permanent factor. So it's related to permeability of the first layer. This is true for the surface runoff by capping or crusting, or because of the impermeability of the first layer. And then you have some water pathway which are related to permeability into the soil. So that's true for runoff by saturation, leaching, lateral seepage, and drainage. So now we've seen that in detail, just a few information on the data to be integrated. So we have about 4 different categories of data to be integrated. One is related to the soil, as we just said, so texture, depth of the soil, permeability of the first layer, fragment, cracks. Then we need information on the substrate, so depth, permeability of this substrate, and inclination. We need as well information on landscape, slope, for instance, which aggravate runoff, and buffer zones, which can prevent, and adjustments such as drainage and drainage network. So this leads us to the evaluation of the type of water flow into the soil and to identify the direction of this water. So is it superficial or is it groundwater? Then, if you add the cultivation data, such as crop, date of sown, crop rotation, tillage plan, you can review your water circulation, assess the effect of the practices, and the intensity of the water flow. And last kind of data, the meteorological data that allow us to identify runoff event and soil saturation period. So let's make clear, we have seen all the data needed to identify water pathway. Let's now make clear how runoff looks like on the field. So I have chosen some picture to illustrate. So left side of the screen, you have concentrated runoff in tram lines, aggravated by the slope on the top. And on the bottom, you have concentrated runoff in tram lines as well, but because of compaction. Then on the right side, on the top, you have the concentration runoff in the Tallweg. And at the bottom, that's even push until erosion processes. Then some illustration on how looks runoff by capping. So you can find runoff by capping and on spring or winter crops. And finally, I wanted to make a point on buffer zones because buffer zones are well known as an efficient measures to prevent runoff, and they are already implemented in some countries. So left up, you have an infield buffer zones, which can capture some runoff. In the middle, you have no buffer zones at all, and with an eroded headlands. Right side, it's a buffer zone used as a pathway, so very compacted and probably not very efficient anymore. And then at the bottom, you have buffer zones saturated that we can maybe consider as a wetland. And finally, on the right side bottom, that's main kind of buffer zone you can find, a grass strip along the river. So now that we've seen how it looks like on the field, we need to see at catchment scale what are the consequences of the assessment. So here you have two different examples of the audit methodology applied on a catchment. Water transfer of pesticides regarding different water pathways are represented in color. So the orange one is drainage, yellow one is surface runoff and erosion, purple one is surface runoff only, and the green one is no risk. So this is an example to show how important it is to assess the information and to upscale the information you gather on the field at the catchment scale, because you really can end with a very different surface at risk regarding the local condition. And so can be the measure you will be implementing on the field or on the catchment. As second example, and as we are speaking about mitigation measure, I want to show you how important it is to have this upscaling phase. So here is a field, an illustration of a field where we can see concentrated runoff in the Tallweg at first view. But in fact, this concentrated water was coming from uphill, coming from the field of the Alps, and the water was concentrated on this field, going through pipe and running on the winter field. So if you stay at the scale of the audited field, you will propose a first solution which would be on this field, on this winter field. So double sow in the Tallweg or implement a buffer zones. But if you work at catchment scale, you will probably work much more on the OPS, trying to stop the runoff in the OPS, and eventually you can, in between, enlarge the pathway and try to implement wetland. So as a second example of this importance of upscaling, here is this picture on concentrated runoff in Thalweg. You have two different solutions. The first one, you try to collect the water at the end, implementing, for instance, the buffer zones, or you can try to work at least on the field or uphill. Okay. Then, based on this complex expertise we gather based on our field audits, we try to support risk assessment, creating decision trees that can be spread out and handled easily by advisors. So we have, let's say, 3 different decision trees. One is regarding assessment of runoff, regarding soil characteristic and landscape, but related to restriction of infiltration. The second one is related to saturation excess, and the last one is related to concentrated runoff. We have force figures or tables where we assess the risk, including practices, and then we are working on decision tree regarding efficiency of buffer zones. So I will go through four of them quickly. So that's exactly the decision tree that Jeremy showed us. What we are working on currently is on the parameterization of these different criteria you have in the table or in the decision tree. And for instance, that means that for low permeability of the topsoil, we give clue to the advisors to assess what is a low permeable soil. So it can be swelling clays, more than 25%, or very loamy soil. As another example, we end with a situation, with different situations where we describe risk level and where we relate to a bunch of proposals related to this situation. So it makes something a little more complicated, but it's just in appearance. Finally, we have this second kind of decision tree, which give us a relative tendency on how to integrate crop practices such as cover and tillage practices. So the main idea here is to say, for instance, that more the field is covered, less the runoff risk, or more the let's do it again. More the cover is developed, less the runoff risk is important. Then last decision tree, concentrated runoff. So the main point here is to relate the different kind of concentrated runoff to specific measures, because it's quite easy to assess concentrated runoff. Finally, we have gathered a lot of information at field scale. And this information at field scale allows us to identify water circulation. But we need really to be able to implement suitable measure at catchment scale. We need to upscale this information.